We've got Mike Marshall, the legendary Machine Sports in studio, and we'll also talk about how the Mavericks have one more move to make this offseason. Coming up next on DLLS Mavs. Hello and welcome to DLLS Mavericks. I'm Tim Cato. I am hosting today. Kevin Gray is out all week, so you're going to see a lot of me in the most left or right to camera, left to camera, right to people chair. Yeah. How was that? Was that excellent?
You're doing great.
We've got Bobby Kralla, as usual.
Hi,
he is our
Tim.
Mavs analyst. And we've got Mike Marshall at Machine Sports.
Thank
The
you.
legendary Mike Marshall.
Thank you.
A frequent pickup partner of mine, and someone who's just spent 7 years at the Dallas Mavericks.
7 plus years. And I'll tell you what, Tim Cato's decent at pick and roll
Oh, yeah?
as a ball handler. Yeah.
Yeah?
Of the dudes we play with, I set a screen for him. I know what he's going to do.
Nice.
We have a connection on a pick and roll.
We
Nice.
do.
How would you evaluate my game?
You try.
Okay. I'll take
try?
I do. Very
Every
hard.
once in a while, once an evening, you'll knock down one corner three,
Yep.
and it'll piss whoever who's defending you off
Yeah.
immediately.
Yep. That's what I
'Cause
do.
that's not your bag. But
That's what
no,
I do.
I like having Bobby on my team too.
So
He
you're
tries.
at D Magazine now. What are you
Correct.
doing over there?
Executive producer for D Magazine, a position that didn't exist before a month ago. Yeah, you know, they have a extremely strong brand and presence in our neck of the woods, and just trying to amplify that into the video realm, into the podcast realm, across all fronts, and bring the magic and the power of D to more people.
What's
on
the
different
D stand
platforms.
for?
What?
This is a serious
Like
question.
in the magazine. What does it stand for?
Down.
Are you?
Oh.
Oh my God, Bobby. This
You're
is
gonna
already
make him
off the
curse.
rails.
You're gonna make him
Yeah.
curse.
Yeah. Well, you know, we are honored to see, you know, other publications following in our footsteps.
Mm.
I know we set a very high ceiling, a very high bar, but I
true.
look forward to seeing you, you know, attempt to replicate some, you know, some half-baked version of
Mm-hmm.
what we do here.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, as one of the members of the very first podcast network in Dallas, Texas, yeah, I'll try and follow what you're doing, Tim, and just see if I can do half of that, and then we'll be successful. But no, y'all are doing great, honestly. I enjoy the show. Whenever I'm having time to check in, I am an audio listener, so if you don't mind, I'm gonna you know, minor critique, but also just something, you know, because I used to be his boss. I used to have to tell him this stuff all the time, and
You did.
I've always kind of acted as your mentor, I think, in life, Tim. So I'm gonna do my best to service the audio listener as you're going through this episode, because I listen to the podcast version
Okay.
strictly.
Okay.
I would argue that in a pick and roll dynamic, the ball handler is the boss and the screen setter is the employee. But, you know, that's just me.
Bobby looks at him with a questioned mark on his face. Audio listeners, he's not believing a thing he's saying
I'm
right
treating
now.
guests that way.
Trust
Mike.
issues.
You went on the Dumb Zone and
I did.
said a lot of things, and
Mhm.
I don't think we really need to go back over all of that. I think you kind of said
It
your
was
piece,
long.
at least for now.
It was.
But I do want to start off with this. You were no
But it was
longer a
good.
Mavericks employee. It was a great
Mhm.
episode. It's a fantastic episode. Definitely go back and watch it. Jake and Dan, those are
Or
our
listen to it.
guys. Jake
Yeah.
is DLLS's own. He's been here in studio.
And D Magazine's own Jake Kemp.
That's right.
Absolutely, 100%.
Slightly
So,
more important.
as you've been a Mavericks fan for a long time, it's a big reason why you went to the Mavericks.
Yeah.
I associate you with one of the people who helped, commemorate everything that Dirk means to the city.
Mhm.
And you and Zach Crane, and I hope at moments in time, pieces that I've wrote, have done a good job of that. So I know you're a Mavericks fan. I know you're a Mavericks employee, recently departed. The Luka trade.
Mm-hmm.
How did you process that as both a Mavericks fan and a Mavs employee? You know, just the initial shock and then everything that came after it.
Yeah, I mean, working on the inside, there are things you know about players and front office people that people on the outside don't necessarily know, right? It's just part of working there. You know more about Tanner than I would, even though I've known Tanner for a long time because you're working with him on a day-to-day, right? Heading into that season, there was some kind of media day type prep meeting, and I this will stick out to me as like, it was kind of a moment where I realized maybe Luka is not ever going to be in condition that it's going to take to hold up through an NBA season. Because I sat next to him during this business pitch thing for media day. It was like a weird thing, but I sat right next to him in like the theater room, and you know, we're telling everyone what we can do with the broadcast and with content, and then there's like some other businesses that come in and do some things, and I'm sitting next to him, and I don't even think it's like the hard part of the season yet necessarily, and he can't sit down for like 15 minutes straight. His back is so wonky, his legs are so like out of whack, and I'm like, okay, so if you're coming into the season kind of broken, this year's going to be weird. It's going to be really weird. And you know, I'm not one to say if he can fix that, if that's you spend more hours in the gym, this gets corrected type thing. You get more hours in a cold bath, maybe it fixes itself. I have no idea. I'm not a doctor. I just knew his body was pretty broken heading into last season and that it was going to be a weird year. And whenever you create that space for people to interpret you or your effort or your love for the game or want to be whatever, that's exactly what you do. You create that space for interpretation of maybe he doesn't care, or maybe this is just who he is. And I've seen him play every single game of his career, and I know he cares. And I love that dude. I have a good relationship with him and all of his management and all his people. And so that never hit me as a question mark. But, you know, obviously it did hit Nico Harrison's mind as a question mark.
Pretty hard.
About whether or not he wants that man to lead the team into the future. And that's the conversation I felt like people were skipping of the trade was like, how can you do this? You're so foolish. Like, this is so stupid. And the outrage that happened from it. And I was like, well, you first have to get yourself in the mindset of Nico Harrison of, number one, how do I convince my boss that this is a good idea, which is a whole separate bag of issues, which I'm not in favor of the Luka trade. I would have said that to somebody if they asked me at the time. That was a big hang up of working there at the time for almost everybody. And so the second part of that is, you know, how am I leveling out this trade? How did I get to this decision that I definitely need to trade this guy? And then how did I come to the decision that this is a fair trade? And you have to understand that Nico Harrison worked at Nike for a very long time. He idolizes all the guys that were on Team USA. So his view of Anthony Davis is higher than ours. We saw the outside of the Pelican situation and probably like, I don't like that much. And you know, he's always hurt. And all these things that we know as being like, you know, a helicopter fan of whatever team Anthony Davis was on at the time and had our concerns, but you're never going to be able to balance that trade unless you get your mind in the space that Nico Harrison's was and dealing with Luka. And maybe Luka got more difficult to deal with later on in his career. I don't know. I'm not involved with those communications. I know the process I went through with him and working with him. It wasn't difficult, but there were a lot more people involved and a lot more people making decisions for him down the road. And as a general manager who I guess the bar is be Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan or you're not good enough. That's kind of where it got set at, I think, at the end. And you're just never going to be able to balance that trade and make that make sense to you until you get to the point of he had become such an annoyance or such a distraction to Nico Harrison that he thought the best path forward was without him. And, you know, what you get back for that matters a ton. And I don't believe for a second that it was just the Lakers, right? I think there were calls and nobody wanted to give him what they wanted, or he didn't have that player that he had fallen in love with over a decade, like Anthony Davis.
There's a lot of superficial comparisons, understandable ones, that Luka followed in Dirk's footsteps, that Luka was the extension and the continuation. I may be reading too much into what you said, but because you were so close, because you knew both of these people directly on a human level, was it easier for you? Did you to see them as different people? Because I think a lot of the reaction after the trade was the idea that Luka is the next Dirk. How could you do this to Dirk? Almost to the extent that it was a disservice to Luka that he had to carry on in this, impossible, unreplicable, stature and status that Dirk had in Dallas.
I feel like we had just recently kind of gotten past comparing him to Dirk. I mean, it took a really long time. I feel like for Mavs fandom to go like, okay, he's not going to beat Dirk. That's just not going to happen. But maybe he's this different kind of thing. But yeah, to show a franchise 21 seasons of, for my money, one of the top 5 basketball players of all time and top 5 humans that I've ever been in a room with, and say, you can have this thing that transcends sports and has an impact on your life for 2 decades and then longer. Like, he's still around. He's still a part of Dallas culture to a large extent. And then to take that away, to set that expectation up again, same people, same team, same fan base, a lot of the same people that still worked there. And to pull that rug out, you have to have a damn good reason, right? And you have to be right. That's the bigger thing to me, is you have to be right about it. This has to work. You can't do this and take this, we hit 777s, we hit platinum, we chased the dragon and we caught it with Dirk. And to offer that again for 7 years and then say, like, actually, no, we're not on the same page as you guys. Like, we want to do this other thing. I think that was a lot of, like, I hate to bring sports into like an emotional category of, like, because there's real things you deal with.
But
there's
you don't hate to do that. I mean, that's the whole point
essence of fandom. Though.
Well, I know, but I don't want to weigh it on the same level as like losing a friend
Sure.
or losing a relative or something. But people were dealing with it in that way, and there were levels of grief that you weren't ready to process through a basketball team. And everyone's feelings were right. You're right to feel however you want about it. And the only person to show you another Dirk and to take that away, I don't know if there's a bigger sting or a bigger hurt that a team could do to a fan base. Like, just honestly, I don't know. Maybe if they trade Giannis or something, like, I don't know.
I think that matters so much, Mike, because, like, so I worked at the Mavs starting in 2013. You started in what, 2018?
Yeah.
And
month after Luka got drafted.
He literally texted me one day that summer of 2018 and was like, I'm your boss now. Just out of the blue. And I was like, all right, fine, whatever. So anyway, we worked together for like 6-7 years. And and Kat was also there. And you and I have been Mavs fans like basically our entire lives. We've been around the block for a while. We got to see Dirk's entire career from the time we were kids, and then we got to work there for the end of it. And then Luka comes along, and we were directly involved, I would say, in not only like trying to create that feeling, not necessarily in a disingenuous way, but from a narrative standpoint that like Luka is like, how lucky are we to get to do this all over again? But also it's really important because the legacy of this franchise is so important to you and me because we have been fans for so long. And like, because of my whole situation off the court too, it's like I directly, and you as well, I believe, have a stake in like educating fans and upholding that legacy and that history and communicating that to future generations and all that stuff. And so it kind of, like the little museum cabinet thing in the practice facility, whenever they like kind of erase that really struck a nerve with me, because it's like, not only are you undoing this thing we have now, but you're also kind of like spitting on the thing that previously was. And that to me like hurt me almost more than the actual trade.
Yeah. I mean, you and I might be overstating our importance or whatever.
You probably
it is,
are.
but
I was not important.
We are like the apostles of Dirk that continue trying to live the way he lived, and still lives, obviously. But like his lessons, like taking his lessons and sharing them with people who didn't get to experience them in real time or to the depth that we did. I feel that responsibility, and I felt that responsibility in that job. And we wanted Luka to be the same. Maybe he didn't want to be the next Dirk or whatever. But we just gone to the finals. It was kind of like, here's the same thing, guys.
Yeah,
here's
the journey,
same movie.
like the journey was beginning.
Yeah. And I mean, I went to Mavs camps growing up. Like that's why I wanted to work there. It was more than just there's a number applied to your salary and like this thing you get to do, but it's also like it's part of me. It's part of my DNA. I would freak out when Brad Davis would show up to a summer camp, right? When I was little. So it is my favorite team and my favorite athlete of all time that I got to work with for 1 year, right? And learn as much as I could about him and from him and closer in a non-fan way.
I'm sorry for asking him a question with a minute left in the segment, Tim.
Oh, no, it's totally fine. We got more Mike
Tanner,
Marshall.
yell at Tim. He's the host.
We got more Mike Marshall coming up. Going to ask him about some of the best memories, favorite things that he worked on with the Mavericks right after we take our first ad break. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer you get to tip-off. They have killer last-minute deals, views from your seat, and the lowest price guarantee. The views from your seat, that's important. You know, that matters. You don't want to be one of those guys who is hitting 0.5x on your phone and being like, ref, where's the foul? You want to know exactly what you're looking at. When you sign up, when you pay money, when you pay less money than anywhere else with Game Time to get tickets to literally whatever event you're trying to make it to, including concerts, including comedy shows. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DLLS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DLLS for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Game Time. We just got back from the Westgate last week. Summer League is over. But man, we had a blast at the Westgate, Tim.
We did.
We had so much fun. And if you're ever in Vegas, listen, there's like 5,000 hotels to choose from in Las Vegas. It's incredible. Everywhere you go, it's great. But the Westgate has the biggest sports book of them all. There's like 500 screens. You got racing, you got baseball. I was watching Wimbledon there. Obviously, Summer League. Apparently during football season, it gets pretty primal in there, especially on college football Saturdays. You can watch every single game. It's more than 4,200 square feet. Great place to hang out, great place to go, great place to stay, and I had a whole lot of fun playing the table games as well. So if you are interested in checking it out, go to westgateresorts.com. Reserve a room today. Go book a room. Or if you're in Vegas passing through, hey, stop in the sports book, give them a shout, tell them we sent you, and have the best time of your life.
Welcome back to the DLLS Mavs show. I want to throw Kenny's comment up there. Kenny Bybee. I've never said your last name out loud. I hope that's the pronunciation.
What up, Kenny?
Oh, wow.
But yeah,
bro?
long-time Mavs fan presence on internet and
Good
just
dude.
everywhere. Great dude. But he says, just want to thank Mike for any and everything he had to do with 41-21-1. It's a night I had anticipated for 20 years, and it couldn't have been more perfect. When you reflect on your 7 years with the Mavericks, is that the first thing that comes to mind?
Yeah, for sure. That night, and not only that night, like for y'all that ended, like we had to go to San Antonio. Like
I was there. I went to.
That moment ended. I mean, for
Yeah.
people watching, I'm doing the fan service thing against him. For the people watching, that night ended and they went home and cried and was like, "Oh crap, that was a lot." Yeah, we get on the plane with them and go to San Antonio. And then the same thing happens, not to our level, but the same thing happens in San Antonio, where another fan base just like rips their heart open and says like, "Thank you." And he starts crying on the court. And then there's a post game in San Antonio. And then there's a waiting for him on the bus in San Antonio. And he is the last person on, of course, because they do like 2 or 3 different languages of like post game. And Casey Smith comes on and starts handing out Allstat beers on the bus. Nice German beer.
Drinking beer, huh?
Yeah, and
That's going to come back to bite him one day.
We're like cheersing and everything, and then Dirk walks on and he starts going, "1 more year, 1 more year," and everyone on the bus starts chanting, and then he grabs the beer and like chugs half of it and goes, "F that," like as loud as he can. So I mean, that was so cool, like seeing your work happen in real time and like people appreciating it, and just him. I got to meet Sean Kemp and Larry Bird and Scottie Pippen and Charles Barkley that night and hang out with them.
And the GOAT Detlef Schrempf, too.
And Detlef, yeah. I got to hang out with those dudes for like 30 minutes that night and then watch all the stuff I've been working on for months on a screen and make everybody cry, and then fly to San Antonio with them and then fly back. And like all of that put together was just like, that's the first thing. I'll never forget that as long as I live, and it'd be hard to top it.
Yeah, man, that was the most important night, I would say, for the Mavs franchise, like in the franchise's history, and also for any fan of that generation or prior, probably the most important for them as well. You know, the end of the journey of a lifetime. You know,
no doubt.
What else stands out? You got any untold stories that you've reflected back on? I'm sure a million, but
ones that I can share. While Mavs employees might be watching this. Yeah, the one that I'll remember that is airworthy is in Abu Dhabi last year.
So especially, I announced those games, like the TV broadcast, but I did not get a seat on the plane or a trip for that.
Yeah, you don't really do anything important. So
I did. I don't know if you heard that part. I broadcast.
You can do that remotely. We proved that during the pandemic.
Okay. Right. Somehow I didn't get to go though. That's a big bummer.
And so we go to Abu Dhabi for 2 games, and then Madrid, right, to go hang out in Real Madrid's facility and play a game there, which was awesome. That was really special too. But the Abu Dhabi game, the first one, you get there and it's like these like 3 days leading up, and you've gone to like practices and done like a million different team events, and then you show up and you're like, all right, time to stream this game and like do some work and like cut some highlights and whatever. And during the games, I got to a point where I didn't have to do a ton. Like I had a really great crew of people like Bobby, et cetera, that could handle and run most of it. And I'm just standing back there, and it was a big headache getting in, number one, and then like the NBA is telling you what you can and can't do. And middle of the game, I'm sitting there chilling, and I'm like, is that Steve Harvey sitting courtside? And the great Brandon Colston is on the trip. BC, what's up, Burger? He's out there doing photography, and then he goes, I go, dude, is that Steve Harvey? And he's like, yeah, it's Steve Harvey. And he's like, Matrix is here too. And I was like, dude, go ask Matrix if he'll introduce me to Steve Harvey. And he runs out there and he asks Trix, and Trix is like, yeah, for sure. And I was like, all right, at halftime, I'm going to come out there and I'm going to talk to Steve Harvey in Abu Dhabi. I guess he lives out there. I hope I'm not like doxing him for tax reasons or something.
Yeah, well,
but he has a residence and he lives in the kingdom out there for some reason. And so I'm like, cool, I'm going to take this media like team credential and see if I can get on the court without anybody like just like duffing me out. There's like princes and like dignitaries.
Dude, just act like you belong there.
And like Kareem is just there. Like, and so I'm like, I'm walking out, not the Subway Takes guy, Abdul Jabbar. I'm walking out and I'm like,
that was a deep cut.
I love Kareem. Yeah. And I'm like, if someone doesn't like take me out, like as I'm walking out here, I'm going straight up with Matrix and talking to Steve Harvey. And I get out there and it's halftime. And I don't know if they're supposed to be huddled on the court, but there's a bunch of people huddled on the court. There's a bunch of people huddled around Steve Harvey. And I'm sitting there waiting with Trix. I'm like, cool, just tell him you're my friend and whatever. And I'm thinking about what I'm going to say to Steve Harvey. And I got it all playing in my head. And I turn around to like see if Steve's ready. And Gary Payton is like face to face with me, like glove right here. And I go, whoa, Gary Payton. He's like, I go, Sonics, man. And he's like, yep. I go, all right, cool.
Yeah, nice.
I was rehearsing in my head so long, like what I was going to say to Steve Harvey, which I did get my line out there, and he did not recognize what I was talking about.
Pitch him a business or something? Or
no, there's a famous line in Kings of Comedy, the greatest stand-up comedy special of all time, featuring him, Bernie Mac, D.L. Hughley, and Cedric the Entertainer.
Oh, okay.
In which one of the guys in the front row leaves, and there's a whole bit with this guy that like gets up to go to the bathroom, and the line is he asks the guy what he does for a living when he comes back. It's this shady character, and the guy says, computer school. And Steve stops down and he's like, I asked you what you did for a living, and you said computer school. And so I walked up to Steve and I shook his hand. Matrix introduces me and I shook his hand and I just looked at Steve dead in the eyes. I go, computer school.
You didn't get it?
And he just goes, haha. And like took a photo with me.
Oh, no, Mike.
Biggest flop.
Mike, you've always struck me as a man who has a very, very elaborate plan for if you ever got on Family Feud.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Like, this is something you think about. You maybe fall asleep.
I love Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
Like, he's as close as I'll ever get to Bernie Mac these days. Steve Harvey's like he's platinum level for sure. He's S tier, but like Bernie Mac's my favorite comedian of all time. And if I can get as close as just anybody that has ever talked to Bernie Mac, like it just like makes me happy. And yeah, I watched Family Feud. That's a long way of saying I watched Family Feud to see Steve Harvey.
Yeah. Would you go on there trying to win or trying to get a reaction?
No, I'm trying to be best friends with Steve. I ain't worried about the score.
You're trying to make him you're trying to make a clip that's just gonna last forever.
Yeah. I'm trying to give Steve something to play off of. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be a foil for Steve Harvey the whole time.
Was the video you guys did for the city jersey with the DOC and Big Tuck and Bobby Sessions? Was that the favorite video shoot? Me and you have talked about this. I did a whole story on it.
Yeah.
For the Athletic 2-3 years ago, whenever that was. But that
was fun.
Yeah.
That was awesome. We spent like no money. I think $300 total on that entire day. Just from renting that studio that we had to film DOC in. But just like,
you didn't get them writers?
No, they never signed anything. But just getting dudes that like I loved and are like really native to Dallas and important to our culture in one place, and just like, it's just like, a daisy chains happening of like I get one person to say yes, then the next person. Like DOC was like the unlock. Getting him to say yes like made Bobby Sessions say yes, and then telling Tuck that those two dudes, which knowing Tuck now, like he'll come up here today if you want to hang out, but like. Getting all three of those dudes to go like, yeah, this is cool and important. And the story, number one, is I wrote it for those dudes. Like the generations and the connectivity of generations through different formats and how they all like became who they were in Dallas. That was like so much fun, dude. They're the best. All those dudes are so cool. They care about Dallas so much, and they're just genuinely sweet dudes. So it was awesome, man.
Did Post Malone decline at the last second?
He's declined a lot of stuff. Like, I can't air some of his demands that he made to be involved with some things, but had him lined up and then he just kept getting more famous.
Easier or tougher than Pat Mahomes? Trying to get Pat Mahomes roped
way harder. Pat Mahomes is great.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Pat's great.
Yeah, because he's always there.
Yeah, Pat's a good dude. Like no issues dealing with Pat at all. But yeah, Austin has some demands to be included on stuff.
Is that his name?
Yeah, his name's Austin.
Oh.
Man,
that's cool.
I think he's from Frisco or something.
I did not know that.
Grapevine, I wanted Carrollton.
Grapevine,
Grapevine. I think
it's
I think.
Also a swell dude. He just knows what he's worth and like is gonna let you know it.
Yeah.
Which I respect.
Doesn't have my impression is doesn't have the same relationship to the Mavericks as say Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Like he has a relationship to Dallas, but like you can choose to express that in ways that you are most passionate about.
For sure. And he was by the time he got around to like responding and engaging on this type of project, like he was bigger than us. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
So we were gonna keep you 2 segments. You want to stick around 5 more? Talk about current Mavs
talk about
thoughts?
the team, man.
5 more segments?
Talk about the basketball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll get you out of here halfway through. I know you got stuff to run to, but
flag captured.
Exactly.
That's right.
So one more ad break,
right,
and
Mike.
then we're going to talk a little bit current Mavs with Mike the Machine Marshall's thoughts coming up next. Started by 2 college friends, Saturday Neon makes officially licensed collegiate logo LED neon signs, perfect for home, office, dorm room, fan cave, bar, podcast studio. We got to get a DLLS Saturday Neon sign. Just lights up DLLS. That would just be so good in the studio. We're gonna work to make that happen. But in the meantime, you should check them out for their new Essentials collection, featuring almost 50 of the biggest schools across the country and starting at only $75. They've got Texas A&M, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma.
Jeez.
We're working on North Texas. Go Mean Green. Unlike traditional neon signs, these LED signs won't break or shatter. They still give you that classic uniform glow that you know and love. So head over to SaturdayNeon.com and use code DLLS for 10% off your newest favorite sign.
High of 97 today and humidity over 50%. You want to know what that means? It's hot. You're going to be sweating and you're going to be stinky. Hey, when was the last time you smelled your grundle? When? The answer is probably about 2 seconds ago because that thing is always smelly. Fellas, it's not just your pits that sweat. It's your entire body from head to toe, and our friends at Mando are going to get you smelling right. Not only are they going to keep those foul odors emanating from your thighs and your balls and your butt crack under control, but they're also going to help control your sweat moving forward. This stuff lasts for up to 12 hours after a shower. You're going to be smelling great. So whether you're going to work, whether you're hanging out with your friends or family, or going on a date, going to a pool party, or just existing and you don't want to smell the nasty that comes from hanging out in 97 and 50+% humidity, then check out our friends at Mando today. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. Comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, and free shipping. Use promo code DLLS at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide and free shipping.
Welcome back, Mike.
Hi.
Mavs thoughts. Go. How do you feel?
For the audio listener, Tim was really uncomfortable with that last read.
Oh, wow.
I'm uncomfortable with Bobby talking more than the read.
Oh, okay. Well, this is a good dynamic y'all have on your show.
Yeah, no, it's
man. This
great.
is
At least
that
it's
you
not
work
every
with
day
them
of my life.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the strength of your team is supposed to be like the bigs, but I don't want to burst anybody's bubble or like ruin anybody's day or make them have the worst day at their job ever. But you have 2 bigs that I genuinely don't think can play 60+ games, and Anthony Davis and Derek Lively.
The second one is a bummer because I've told them the story of after game 4 of the finals, whenever I was dangerously high on hopium, like I could barely walk. And I'm telling you, like, I'm not even sure I would trade Lively for Booker straight up right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I love D-Live. I think he is the perfect kind of player for the modern NBA. I love him as a person. I think he's a special dude. Would fight people for him. There's just been nothing in his basketball or athletic career that tells me that he can play more than 50, 60 games in a season.
Like, unfortunately, even going back before college.
It's forever.
It
is literally forever that he's been playing basketball. So how do you manage that? Is it wait till something breaks or manage his minutes, or how do you handle that? And then Anthony Davis has a pretty long track record of telling you that he's going to play about 60, 65 games. And so if you align your team where this is supposed to be a strength and then it's not a strength, and you go into a lot of games with like Daniel Gafford and Dwight, we're gonna need some minutes. Dog, can you do it for me? That just feels like they're making an extremely thin bet this season, particularly on the bigs and where you're allocating resources. And then nobody's gonna psyop me into the idea that D'Angelo Russell's good. Like, you're just not going to do it. I've seen the guy's entire career.
Dude, I got a lot of trouble for saying that, all right? So just tread lightly.
No one's going to psyop me into, like, I'm sure he's fine. He definitely deserves to be in the league. He definitely deserves to get minutes at point guard, maybe start for some teams. I just genuinely, how I feel about Chris Paul. I'd rather have Chris Paul.
Yeah, me too.
And so I think saying Kyrie's ahead of timeline is fantastic as well. No, dude. No. He is not showing up ahead of timeline. That's not how he treats his body. That's not what he believes in.
As this is
that's his
as
right.
he deserves. Yeah, as this is right for sure.
He should. His body is his entire earning future.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he has to take care of it and play whenever he feels right to play. So
at this point, it's his legacy.
It is.
Coming back too soon and having a type of injury that keeps him out for a longer stretch. Like, he is at the point of his career where he is building his legacy as a top 100, top 75, maybe top 50 player of all time. Certainly when you add in influence and what he means to the game and what he means to, the generation that has come up behind him.
Yeah. And I'll admit, I was
100%
wrong. I don't know what the dude did in previous stops. He has not been that guy here. So I have a lot of respect for him and growing up and maturing and just learning how to do this in a new spot and taking that opportunity. So I'm a genuine fan, and I really like that guy personally. He is not going to rush back just because you need him back, and that's his right as a player, and that's probably a good call. So maybe I'm a little shell-shocked from last season and dealing with a lot of just the most random lineups that we will laugh about 10 years from now whenever you post them on Twitter and go like, remember this? But I see those nights. I see a lot of those nights in our future. And God forbid D'Angelo Russell gets hurt, and then you're going down the list and you're trying to roll out Dante Exum, who also can't stay healthy for an entire season and never has. You're making a really, really thin bet. And I know we don't like to talk about injuries that much in the show, but we're at that point where you have a very banged up, aging team, and you're already, I feel like, going to pigeonhole Cooper Flagg into playing smaller because of what your roster dictates on the court, when in reality, I'd like to roll into the season and say, like, man, show me what you're best at. If I have a lineup where he can play the 5 and defend guys of that ilk, okay. But right now, I feel like they're never, ever going to be able to learn that because they're forcing him into playing the 3 and going to play down no matter what in a lineup. And I think you definitely need a consolidation trade. Like, that is around the corner, inevitable. Like,
you know my theory, man.
Yeah, I do.
Said it for 5 years. That dude is going to play here one day.
Yeah, there's an obvious 3-year window that has been built. You can just look at the cap sheet, and it'll tell you in 3 years, this is Cooper Flagg's team. So, is this year a try it out, figure it out year, or is this a year where you go in and you say, maybe at the trade deadline, I have a lot of movable salaries that can be consolidated and moved somewhere to fix this thing. I don't know if the opportunities aren't there right now, and that's why they haven't done it, but that's pretty obvious to me. You got too many. You got too many different things. And the other thing, on-court thing that really bugs me right now is there is not nearly enough shooting on this team. If I've seen D'Angelo Russell like knock down 7 threes in like a half at a game when he was playing with the Warriors back in the day, and I know he's capable of doing it in a game. I mean, you can just pull up his stats and it'll tell you like it's not enough to overcome. It's just Clay. I don't expect Cooper Flagg to like shoot 40% rookie season or even be the exact same offensive player that we saw in college. He's not going to get that whistle, and he's going to be playing, I assume, a lot of like heavy defensive minutes. So I don't think there's near enough shooting. And if there's a night where you're missing one of your key bigs, tell me how you win. Tell me what you're doing if you're not holding somebody to 105 points every night. Like what's the best? Just when you walk into any situation, you should be asking yourself and the people around you that are going into this venture with you, how do you win? What's my win out of this?
Well, you got Jaden Hardy down there on the bench.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
You do. I didn't think about
It's
that.
important.
Yeah. But it's just like a very thin bet to me this season. Not saying that next year might not be a completely different story. You can consolidate some guys and get another star in here. But until Kyrie comes back, man, you're putting a lot of money on like zero green.
Whenever you're saying we got a 3-year window, there's no next year. You can't be like, no, next year's gonna be fine.
That's the thing. That's also
Gotta
the thing.
be like right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
I think it's right now. And does ownership, does everybody have the patience to keep this thing together for the next 3 years? If it doesn't work out this year, if there's not a conference finals this year, if there's not another conference finals next year, like, is there enough patience to keep this thing together for the 3 years? I think there's a 3-year window for everybody. It's kind of a package deal. But, I mean, y'all know as well as I did, like, all the coaches left. The head coach looked like he was kind of leaving. Is there actually a 3-year window for anybody but this collection of the highest paid players on the team, and Kyrie and AD and Cooper Flagg? Because after that, it is Cooper Flagg's team. It's very obvious. It's the Cooper Flagg Dallas Mavericks era then.
Before we play him off the stage, I need to say one more thing.
You may say it.
So this was during, I think, 2020. It was in the days whenever we were working from home, and it was time for my annual eval. And I don't like meetings. All right. I'm probably the most anti-meeting person I've ever met in my life. Mike is the second most anti-meeting person I've ever met. And so for Mike to schedule a meeting with me, it's a hell of a sacrifice for both of us.
Yeah.
And he put the time on my calendar, and I did not go. I did not show up to this virtual meeting. I don't remember what I was doing. I was probably watching TV or just hanging out or living my life, but I did not go. And I checked my texts a little later, and I just had a message from Mike that says, "I'm going to kill you." And so thank you for not killing me.
You're welcome. I've probably sent that text a handful of times to you.
You did. That was one of many.
I love you, but you're a frustrating person sometimes.
I'm true to myself, man. What can I say?
You are. I get in a really bad mood, and you probably learned this about me. Whenever someone's putting me up to do something that I don't want to do, but I have to do it.
Yep.
Like, and that was the ultimate, like, I don't need to evaluate Bobby's performance this year. Like, and I don't need to have a meeting about it. Like, he's not that type of employee that, like, wants or needs that. And if I didn't like something he was doing, I would have told him.
Yeah.
Like, the minute he was doing it.
Which you did.
And so, yeah. And in that instance, you were doing something I didn't like. So I told you the minute it happened. And I told you that I was going to.
And I never missed a meeting with you ever again. I missed others, but none with you.
Yeah. So. I hate meetings. They're useless. But yeah. So
Ooh, we got a super chat from GM Ben. Oops. $1.99 from my boss, GM Ben Machine. Any tips for me on Bobby's upcoming year? Ben, don't make it a meeting.
don't make it a meeting.
Let's have lunch instead.
Make it lunch. And also, like, if you just sit there kind of quiet and just like stare at him a little bit, he'll start just like dogpiling himself.
Yeah.
He'll just if you just put the gun on the table, he will definitely turn it towards himself. Like, after a couple minutes, it's like one question. You're just like, how do you think you're doing?
Oh my God. I was like overheating.
Yeah.
Oh man, you don't want to know.
Yeah.
You don't want to know.
Yeah. He'll motivate himself. You don't really have to worry about it.
Oh my God.
And then you're like, yeah, you're right.
Man, this felt like a therapy session.
Hey.
A little bit.
Got
Mike,
time for that later.
Thanks for coming on.
Of course.
Great to have you. Congrats on D.
Thank you.
Congrats on a great run with the Mavericks.
Appreciate it.
I'm sure we'll see you in
Where
here
should
soon.
people, follow the IG, follow the Twitter, go to the website? Is there YouTube? What are they doing?
Follow D Magazine on all platforms. Our IG's about to be popping off. So D Magazine at D Magazine. YouTube is nothing right now, but it will be something, I promise.
All right.
The podcast as well. So go subscribe. Check us out whenever we're sharing stuff. I really appreciate y'all for having me. I like what y'all are doing. It's very cool. And I listen, so that's the highest compliment I can give because I don't have a lot of hours in the day to listen to stuff. So proud of y'all, and thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Your former right-hand arm. Man, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, just get out of here, walk in front of the cameras. It's still
there's no normal way to leave this place.
There's no outro here. We're
playing a song.
We got a couple minutes left.
Playing. You can't hear it, but we're definitely playing.
Yes,
Bye,
absolutely.
Mike.
Farewell.
This is a gift from Mike. Yeah, thank you. That was this was our playoff bonus from 2024 actually.
Oh man. So we went a little longer than expected, which means
that's fine because we were really struggling to come up with the fourth seg.
Oh, I thought you were so excited to talk about the Dean Wade rumors.
I'm already pissed off.
Okay, well, the 90-second version of what we were going to talk about is just that the Mavericks still do have one move left based off their verbal agreement and reported agreement to sign Dante Exum, and the fact that
you just want to do that in the next segment?
Yeah, we could just carry it over.
What was our next segment going to be anyway?
We're going to talk about we're going to talk about Kevin Gray and some tweets he's been making.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, but
we'll do a combo of both of them.
Well, the headline of the show is one more move, so we do have to deliver on that promise.
Well, let's hit a break now, and we'll come back with that.
Okay. Hey, you should become a diehard, and here's why. First off, being a diehard is really fun and good and cool. It is an exclusive club consisting of more than 1,500 people. I'm not sure if Mike Marshall's a part of it. If he was, we would have kept him for the full hour. If he is, then I will invite him back very soon. But one other reason why you should become a diehard is today on alldlls.com, Clarence Hill dropped an exclusive with Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. Got some time to sit down with QB4 out there in Oxnard before the Cowboys launched training camp. And Dak was talking about his health, his mindset, frame of mind, how he deals with the pressure and expectations. Spoiler alert, he welcomes them and recognizes that as one of the highest paid athletes of all time, you are working under a microscope and the spotlight is always on you, especially when you're the quarterback of that team. And so, he's ready to face that challenge head on, but there's a whole lot more in there that you should read. Also, Jeff Wilson yesterday had the story of a Rangers minor league pitcher entering a casino as a minor leaguer and exiting as a major leaguer. How about that, Tim?
Okay.
That's a pretty good story. Are you going to top that soon on the site?
Is that something that you can, like...
It wasn't a prize.
Oh.
It wasn't like he didn't like hit 21 3 times in a row or anything. He just got a phone call. Oh, wait a minute. It was way more interesting than that. You should go check it out. Also, when you sign up, you get a free shirt of your choice. We got more than 40 to choose from. We just launched some new merch. The Dallas collection, some great looking stuff. I got the top left one myself. I'm going to have to cop another couple of these at least. If you already are a diehard and you've redeemed your free shirt, well, you get a discount on any other merch you could want. You also get to join the Discord. You get to read the website like we were talking about, and you get your physical diehard card. Folks, there are so many reasons to become a diehard. Those are just a few of them. Thank you for your consideration and for supporting our channel however you choose to.
Welcome back to the DLLS Mavs show. We are on a smaller, on a more zoomed camera now. We are picking up where we left off, talking about the Mavs and the fact that as Mike loudly clamors out of here.
But you don't hold up the quiet. You're the one jingling keys.
Yeah,
which distracts Tim.
I think this is what Mike meant, where he says we don't serve the audio listeners
No,
sometimes,
we don't.
where we
No.
just talk and,
I tried
wander
to at least
off.
acknowledge their existence.
Yeah, you know, I do not have
gonna be some
Kevin
tough
Gray's locked-in mindset. So the Mavericks do have one move still left to make, and when this was announced, when Dante Exum was announced, we speculated a lot about whether Dallas maybe had something in the works, and you know, maybe they had something agreed upon, and it would maybe be roped in or looped into you know, one of the bigger trades that was going down, the Kevin Durant trade to the Rockets, for no clear discernible reason, ended up being a 7-team trade. I think that was just
doing bits.
I almost want to think it was. They didn't even let Andrew Baker's 6-team record for Klay Thompson last summer. They didn't even last a year. Already, that record was shattered.
That 7-team trade, which was mostly just like, you know, procedural, like 52 for 54 in cash draft picks, that got more tweets and interactions than it, way more than it deserved, but even more than like some moves that did happen that were actually consequential. Very strange, very bizarre.
So Chris Paul, who Stein was on top of reporting that he would have been Dallas's preferred target this summer, he signed with the Clippers. So true to his word, he went back to Los Angeles. He is closer to family. I know that he was connected briefly to Milwaukee, which it's not very close to LA.
Nope.
But all of his wishes and desires to be in LA or very close to LA was accurate. And so Dallas just never really had a chance at him. Dallas was, over the weekend, linked sort of to Dean Wade. But even the report from Sam Amico, which, you know, I'll let you guys gauge how much you want to, you know, it's not Mark Stein. That's all I'm saying. Not Mark Stein.
Damn.
Nobody's Mark Stein. Mark Stein is where my reliability index begins.
Yes.
And every single person.
I call it the Mark Stein line.
Correct. And so even in the rumors linking to it, it's more of an idea, not that Cleveland is looking to trade him, that they may have to because of tax reasons, because of salary reason. He makes about $6 million. And then it was followed up that Dallas, along with a couple other teams, were known to be fans of Dean Wade as a player. So those are two different things. That is, maybe speculation indicates that this is a player Cleveland, for salary reasons, would have to part with. And then here are some teams that like Dean Wade. So I'm just going to push back a little bit on the idea that there are direct rumors. Even the rumors that are out there are not saying Dallas is discussing a trade with Cleveland involving Dean Wade. However, when you set the stage of Dallas' summer, which is basically done, but not done, because they still have 16 players. They have 15 players with guaranteed contracts, and they have very little room up against the second apron for them to maneuver. And they have verbally agreed, it's been reported, that Dante Exum is going to be a Maverick next season. So that leaves you in a situation where there's still a trade to be done. When you consider all of that, Bobby,
Mm-hmm.
do you see any way to connect the dots? Is this a connect the dots situation? Do you have any sense of what we might still be waiting on when it comes to what is likely to be one last move Dallas makes before training camp? We don't know when, but at some point, it seems inevitable, very likely.
Yeah, well, let's start with the Dean Wade thing. I think he's fine. I think Dean Wade is fine, and maybe even good. They play him sometimes a small forward. I think he's more of like a stretch forward kind of player, but he's got a little more chops than just a standstill 3-point shooter. But the Mavs have a lot of those guys already. Like their whole team is that guy. Flagg and PJ and Najee and so on. And so
AD plays for.
plays for, obviously, and they have two centers and Caleb Martin and on and on. And so Omax. And so I don't really think that they have a need for Dean Wade. However, if that is a move that they made, he makes, unless Jaden Hardy's deal is not flat, which on Spotrac it is, so I'm just going to believe that, he makes about $600,000 more than Hardy, which even if they revoke like all of their cap holds and everything, still doesn't get them anywhere near to below the second apron. So like there's very little incentive for Cleveland to make that trade, and there's even less for Dallas, because not only does that not free up a roster spot, it also gets them closer to the second apron, which they're already flirting with, and they are hard capped at the second apron. So they can't really afford to take on more money. Now, so again, that doesn't solve really any problem for them. They have to get rid of a guy somehow, whether it's 1 for air or 2 for 1 or 3 for 2 or 4 for whatever. I think that we can probably put the LeBron trade stuff. I mean, Mark Stein always said that they were never going to trade for him, but I think that we can probably just assume that Winagoat7 and some of these other accounts out there were just making it up. Now,
or maybe not even making it up. Well,
I mean, there were literally screenshots of text, dude. Like they were making that up.
No. Correct. Yeah. Whether there was anything going on this summer with LeBron, I think, putting those reports aside, I think it is safe to say that there is nothing happening with LeBron this summer right now.
Probably not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly not by trade. Not by trade.
Correct.
We can only assume.
Right.
Things have a way of changing though, so stay tuned. But in the meantime, teams that haven't used their mid-level exception can take on players into what would essentially be that slot for the mid-level exception. Most of the Mavs players make more than that. Some make less, but the guys that make enough to fit into that are probably not good enough for a team to just take them for free. So the Mavs would likely have to pay teams, and there's only one team left with cap space, that's Brooklyn, and there's going to be some pretty fierce competition for salary dumping. So I don't really know that we can just say it's as easy as, oh, well, Omax or Hardy or Dwight Powell, like someone will just take them off you. Like I don't think that we can say that for sure. So the reason that the Dean Wade thing would have made sense to me if, let's say, instead of 6.6, he makes $8.6 million. You add Hardy and Omax together. That's I think 8.3. I forgot what Omax makes, but like that trade would make sense because it would open up a roster spot and it would be roughly the same money. But I can't see them making a 1-for-1, and I don't think that they're just going to buy someone out to make them go away. Like I think that they're going to have to make some sort of move. I agree with Mike, and I agree with you. You've been saying this for a while. Consolidation trade is like, it's almost like a must have. Like they have to do that at some point. But I don't know. The later it gets, it's like it's getting harder for me to see them actually doing that, unless Anthony Simons is the guy. But I don't think that that's the case.
Yeah, it's a guy who makes
22
a bit of sense.
And he does make sense, and he doesn't make too much money on an expiring deal.
But it doesn't make sense makes more sense before D'Lo.
Yes.
Yeah. Just to put the Dean Wade thing another way, I think Dante Exum makes so much more sense for this roster. And as you laid out, there's not really a way to get 2 players into a roster that has, 15 guaranteed, players under guarantee. Like there are, but it's already difficult to get 1 roster spot open. And maybe this surprises. Maybe they got something in the works. Maybe they are more willing to part with something in the future to make this happen. But because it's going to be challenging to get 1 roster spot open, like that's Dante Exum's spot, and he makes more sense than a Dean Wade on this team. He is more of what they don't have, more of what they need than, as you pointed out, another 3-4 with decent shooting, but not a spacing threat, not a gravity type guy, not a a good defender. I think that's one of his best skills. Like he's pretty decent point of attack, but is he your point guard defender? And which lineups do you get him into for him to even guard point guards, for him to guard down, which is something we've talked about them missing. So noted that the rumors are out there, but when it comes to this forthcoming move, we still believe will happen. It's always possible Dallas just goes back to Dante Exum's agent and says, we miscalculated. But I think that's very unlikely. That would be very sloppy front office work. That, say what you will about the front office work, that is not something that I've come to expect from Dallas in terms of the process and the mechanism about how they go about their businesses. They've always been under Nico Harrison, with Andrew Baker and Matt Riccardi. They've always been very sharp at making moves. And so I would still be very surprised that, I still kind of assume that they have somewhere in their back pocket a fallback option that, is just waiting to be materialized. Maybe something else comes up. That would be my guess, and it's just a matter of how it actually plays out.
And there's still time, and I mean, Stein alluded to this. Now, sometimes he drops hints, and sometimes he is just kind of speculating. But he said, like, if depending on the language in Exum's deal, like if it's non-guaranteed, then they don't actually have to dump anybody now.
Right.
So that could be the case. You can also carry more guys in your roster during the offseason. So like, there's no like real rush. But man, I don't know. If all it is just get to late September and you buy out Dwight or you buy out Omax, like that would just, I don't know, it would just kind of be a bummer. Like, it would feel like deflating. Like it feels like there is something. Like there's something left. There's something left they need to do.
Right. I mean, even then, I think they would have to give that back a little bit of money.
Well, no, I mean they're still under the apron, so they could just eat all that money if they wanted.
Yeah,
which I think would just be the right thing to do, unless it's like, what are you gonna stretch wave $2 million?
Right,
it's just annoying.
It's very annoying. Sometimes it's what you got to do.
Yeah, sometimes it is what you got to do. Nothing personal against Dean Wade, by the way. My reaction whenever you brought up his name for the first time, the NBA season is long, and I have covered a lot of games, and sometimes I just choose a guy on the other team, and I'm like, I don't like that guy, just for no reason, just to like make it interesting. I'm watching him warm up, and I'm like, yeah, you suck, like just and Dean Wade during the 2021 season, whenever there were no fans in the gym, Dean Wade was that guy for me. It was like, I'm really bored. There's nothing going on. I don't like Dean Wade anymore,
even though he's a D Wade. Historically, you've had great relationships.
That has nothing to do with it, but that doesn't help his cause. That's for sure. It does not help his cause.
Man, it's a tough one for you.
No, it wasn't a tough one for me. It's very easy to hate, Tim. It's easier to hate than it is to love.
Is that true?
I don't know.
I think it depends person to person.
I think
maybe
it's the internet.
It probably is easier to hate than
loving is cringe. Hating is cool.
It's true.
You want to be cool, don't you?
Love has to be sincere.
Mm-hmm.
Hating can just be fake.
Yeah, you can just pretend to hate Dean Wade.
Right. Except in your case, all the time. You legitimately do.
Yeah, I can't stand that guy.
Yeah.
Can't stand him.
You're number one op in the NBA.
I hate you, Dean Wade. Just kidding. You're probably fine. You're probably fine.
Along with who else is who? You have another famous nemesis that I'm blanking on.
Nurkic?
Maybe?
I hate Nurkic.
Okay.
Justin Champagny or Julian, one of the Champagny brothers?
Oh, they're both nice.
Well, I don't know. One of them had a good game against the Mavs one time.
All right.
All right. Tanner's playing us off. Mercifully, this is coming to an
end. That's going to be it for us, DLS Mavs. Monday episode. We'll be back tomorrow. Stein will be here. Thanks to Mike Marshall, of course, for coming on.
Love you, buddy.
First couple and a half segments. And everybody, have a great week. We'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.